Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. All right, so good things is coming. Basically, I got the information I needed to kind of at least prepare for what's ahead. Got a lot of questions answered. So I'm just thanking God for all of that. Just gonna move forward without worrying too much about the problem, but more so looking to fix them with these solutions that I'm applying faith to, and we're just gonna push forward, man. I encourage y'all to do the same thing. But yeah, man, some information. So essentially what we learned is there's a chance they may not even put this notice on my door right away. I'm expecting them to be like clockwork. Notice on the door tomorrow, possibly tonight at midnight, right? And then from there, I would have 5 days to request more time. What the homie at the self-help told me was, don't necessarily expect them to come on the day they say they're gonna come. Now they could. You gotta wait on that. It could be tomorrow, it could be Saturday, it could be Sunday. As soon as they put it on your door, then come back down and request the time. Because you can request the time now, you'll get 2 weeks or whatever they give you, and then you may not even find that thing on your door till after that. But you will have to be out at that time. Now what he told me is take a picture of everything in your house, because when the sheriffs come to really pull you out at the end of that process, if for some reason you ain't out, you got 10 minutes to get the hell out of there. So you said put everything in bags. They're not gonna give you time, but you could take pictures of everything that you lose and get it back in small claims court. If for some reason you're getting locked out, there is a way to get back the value of everything that you lost. So that information was not clear to me. I'm telling y'all, the way my mind works, I'm telling the Lord I'm ready to say goodbye to my things, because I didn't think there was no hope for people like me. If you can't get your stuff out, you out. And my thing is, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna own everything there is. So it's like, all right, but if we have rights, hey, I want to use those too. I want to give myself a chance. So I think what I got today was my paperwork, all the stuff that I threw away, all the transcripts from the court situation. I got those, and that's very important to me because it was something I shouldn't have thrown away. I threw it away in haste, just because I was being, combative in regards to, okay, we're past this. I don't need to look at this no more. We're done. That was my attitude, and that wasn't the case. You need to be able to contact people, get some help for these type of things. So, the way that they described it in regards to once you get the notice on the door, now you got to come with money in hand and all of that. He said that there's a lot more ambiguity to it. He said, where did I get that information? Both of the clerks said, nah, that's not how that has to go. You don't necessarily have to pay money, but it's good to have it in hand because it'll be more favorable to you if you have money in hand to represent what it is that you're willing to, that you have to do. And, if you're going to stay for longer than a month, and obviously you want to fork over that money ahead of time, since the whole object of the game is to not further your debt and make it so that they have to rely upon you for anything. Since you've been delinquent in your money, why they went to courts? Because they couldn't get nothing out of you. Why would otherwise they do anything for you if not for you putting that money ahead of time? So that's sound logic. If I had to take somebody to court to give me some money, the last thing I want to do is give them any credit. So yeah, that's sound. I think for me it was just understanding that not everything is going to move as systematically as I expect it to in theory. So he said be aware that this thing cannot come on your door anytime after tomorrow, but that they might not come tomorrow is something that is be very optimistic about, because they may not bring that thing to your house till July. It's just that they have a right to it any time after the date that's on that thing. Now today, the paperwork I got has two different things on it, but the judge said no sooner than tomorrow, and that's the date it is. But the paperwork said that I have to turn over the keys today at 1:30 in order to not have to worry about the sheriffs. So there's some ambiguity to that, but ultimately what the self-help guy showed me on the paperwork is that tomorrow is the official day, and anytime before that they may not come to my house about no paperwork in that regard. So I'm going to trust the self-help guy and the judge. He said the same thing that day, 22nd. So that's what it is. Tomorrow or tonight after midnight, I can expect them to come and deliver that notice. So I got the paperwork necessary. I know what I need to do when I come back down there. I know how much I'll likely need. He said the rent divided by 30 is basically what your day-to-day price would be. The rent divided by 30. So that's essentially what it is, whatever your one day would be, if out of 30 days, you know what I mean? The common sense action of it. What's your one day? So for me, that can be worked out, and I'll be able to fork over that, I believe. So it's just a lot of things that are falling into place based on the effort I'm trying to put in. And I think that because I'm putting in that effort, I can be at least pleased with what it is that's coming about in regards to things that are not sorting out in the way that I wanted to. My uncle gave me a great sigh of relief talking to him this morning, telling me that, you know, they're willing to help me in the financial aspect of things for sure, which is the most important. No matter what I'm saying, that's the most important. And everything else has just been God's grace just guiding me. And, you know, I asked the self-help guy a question that is kind of stupid to ask, but I think it's important that somebody verbalize it to me. I asked him, I was like, in regards to my situation, do you think I should go take care of my medical and my mental first because I got this undiagnosed issue and all of these different things? Do you think it would make sense for me to take care of that before trying to address this situation? Now, granted, the answer is, in a nutshell, of course not. You need to live somewhere. I know that. He knows I know that. But what I was looking for him to kind of help me with guidance is, I don't know how to convince somebody to rent to me under my circumstances if I tell them the truth. That's the God's honest truth. I don't know any landlord in a nutshell that's going to give me an opportunity based on the truth of my situation. It just doesn't seem like something anybody would do for me, you know? Anybody, not just for me. I mean, I think my character would be more likely I'd get this blessing than most. To be utterly honest with you, I think I would probably get that before a lot of people would. But that ain't the point. It's like, how the hell do I be honest with landlords about the specifics of my situation when I know damn well this is the very essence of everything they should be trying to stay away from? Like, literally. I know that. I know that better than I've even said, man. I don't think anybody in a nutshell should take what it is that I got going on and invest in it per se, because it needs to be other things going on from my end to make it so that I'm the person I need to be in regards to paying that rent. Truth be told, I still got a long way to go with my mental health before I'm even ready to keep a job. Even if I get a job, I ain't gonna probably keep it. That's just the reality of it. And that don't mean I don't think I'm capable of starting something, because I have. I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt the routine that we're in. Is what I was saying in the other video. My pattern. I know my pattern. And I don't know what stems that pattern. And I have yet to figure out how to stop that pattern. And so because of it, I don't think it's right for me to lie to people and tell them I'm the most responsible person. I was telling God this morning, I'm starting to have a realization about myself that I don't like. And that is probably not fit to be a father. Be dead honest with y'all. When you consider the different mistakes I found myself in and my inability to get myself out of it, you got to wonder if it's responsible for you to dream of such things. You know, I always knew that I was a person that a certain disadvantage that I put myself in a lot of the time based on how I perceive myself at times, how I perceive what I was up against or what have you. But now this is played out this way. It's not even about confidence. My confidence is a swing. I have plenty of things to offer a family. I have plenty of good attributes to offer. But when it comes to being able to guide your family out of circumstances, be able to keep your family from falling into circumstances, I have yet to prove myself worthy. And I can't say that I don't believe in myself or something like that. That's just not the case. It's just about identifying facts, not necessarily providing belief and faith. We can have faith in the world. All the faith in the world is somebody, and either they're going to do what the data shows us they're going to do or prove us wrong and go against that data. But either way, the data is the data, and I have to be honest about the data. It's not to put myself down or people down who are like me or discourage people from thinking they can handle what they have if they happen to have what it is that I'm saying I can't handle and they have the problem I got. That's not my purpose. I'm just saying the preventative measures. Maybe you, because of how you are, put your family at certain risks that they don't need to be in if otherwise you didn't have this issue I have. Am I to look at you and say, because you're handling it so well, I should put us both in that situation? I should allow myself to fall into it? At some point in time, you just have to say the data's the data, man. I'm 39 years old. Just got evicted. You know what I'm saying? What can I do for a family? What can I do if my family gets into a situation where they need me to pull them out of it? in time. I can't seem to get nothing going for myself, just by myself, struggling by myself. How can I handle family? So I have to be honest about that. And just kind of get my life in a position to where I'm no longer dreaming about things that I really can't do nothing with. And more so putting myself in a position to do something with those things. Because if I was 21, 22, 23 years old, it'd be different. Because I could look at it and say, well, I'll get there. But now it's like, man, I'm already past there. If I didn't get there, I ain't got there. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just something that you have to be honest with yourself about when you walk around like I'm walking around, where you trying your best to do what you need to do and you're failing and you think you're smart, but there ain't nothing coming of it. You take certain chances that you believe are good, nothing come of it. But I raised my kids to find themselves in the situation I'm in? I hope not. Who's to say they wouldn't follow me down this path any damn way, just watching me do it? I don't think that's the way to go. I think so many people, they start families without these things rolling around in their head. And then they find themselves not able to handle what it is they're responsible for. I don't want to be that way. I already feel like I've suffered enough of that nonsense just trying to live on my own. To put somebody else in that position, I just don't think it's responsible. So that's why I'm starting to realize I probably ain't going to have a family, or if I do, it's going to be a lot later in life than it should be. Because at 39 years of age, I can't even keep myself from going through these circumstances. I can't even pull myself out of these circumstances. And so that's real, man. I'm not going to lie to nobody about that. And I do hope that you all find the confidence you need so that you can get the information you want to better equip you to be who it is you want to be for your family. That's what it is, information. It ain't even necessarily money. Money can be made once the information's in place. But I don't have the information or the desire to educate myself by way of the what's available. Homework and all that stuff I shunned my whole life. Never wanted to do it. Never wanted to do any homework other than the homework I was interested in. Still the same way. Worked into that equation. And so it's like old dogs need to be taught new tricks in situations like this. And sometimes this is not possible. Not to say that I'm not looking to learn new tricks, because I always am, but certain things working into who I am, that's going to be rather difficult to shake. You can change your shot at 21, but you may not be able to change it at 39. You know what I mean? When you're shooting the basketball. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. It's like certain tendencies I have to try to protect myself, coddle myself, or bring myself to certain peace. And whatever rhythms I find it, even if I'm locked into something that ain't what it used to be, but something else, still locked in, still gonna find myself trying to, do what it is that I ultimately do. Try to keep myself feeling the way I need to feel, to want to keep pushing forward the way that I feel comfortable. And that ain't acceptable when you have a family, when you got responsibilities, when you got a wife and people and mothers-in-laws and fathers-in-laws that need you to step up to the plate and make them all proud. I don't have it in me. At this moment, I don't even have it in me. Good. You need any help? You need any help? I can help you if you want.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. You have a good day. Bye-bye. But that's what it's about, man. I genuinely want to help. I didn't do that. A lot of times we try ourselves to be so virtuous to help people. I think for me, it's to make sure that the help that I offer is the help that they're comfortable with. A lot of times in my past as a young man, I'd walk up and grab a cart and push it, but I don't know, maybe that makes her afraid. The point is to give people what it is they can use, not what it is they cannot. And so that's what I'm learning how to be, more of a helpful person if I can. Not just because, I'm capable, because I think that is really what I would hope happens for my family and friends too. If you ever see them out and about and they need some help with something, I want the world to help them. You know what I mean? I want the world to be there for them. I remember one time when my mom was going through difficulties with her cancer, she told me of people that were helping her carry groceries. She told me people just see her in a situation, ask her if they want her to give, have their seat. And it's just like, that's what I'm thankful for, that somebody would do that for her. And so it's like, when I see opportunities to do that, I see it as a way to pay it forward, to give the same way that it was given to my mom when she really needed it. And hopefully maybe if I get old enough, I'll too be able to get some help from somebody who just be nice enough to give it to me. Just, I think that's how you deserve, when you're willing to do it when you can. It'll come back when you need it the most. I believe that. So, I don't think I'm the greatest guy in the world or nothing like that, because I'm willing to do something that I think others should be willing to do. But just the same, if I can be an example, especially when I'm in the worst of times, or when I'm feeling like my worst, if I can be somebody who's helping somebody else, maybe that rub off on my example and hopefully get you guys to do the same thing. You know what I mean? And see that variable, and how you paying it forward for somebody else that you want to see helped, or maybe even yourself who will need it someday. You don't know what type of situations you're going to find yourself in, but you definitely want to be able to say that you're deserving of the help that you are going to need. So that's what I'm here to say. I want to be deserving of the help that I may need, or to provide myself the grace to maybe have the favor of not needing that help because of the help that I'm giving others when I do. And so that's what I hope to do. I hope to honor that for which has been given to me and mine, and hopefully provide it for you. That's the plan. I found myself thinking that there's an entity out there that looks at me and says, this guy really gets off on thinking he's a good person. This guy is so virtuous. You almost think that he never have any sins and never have any evil thoughts. You would just think that you have to be holy around this guy. And I'm telling you, I've lived through enough life where I was at my darkest to know that nobody needs to think I see myself that way. No. And if you could talk to God about me at my worst, he would tell you the same thing. Like, no, this is just a person that I'm trying to turn his life around, just like any other person whose life I'm trying to turn around. That's all I am. I'm not better than nobody. I just get certain things that I don't think a lot of people really understand. But as it pertains to energy and the Holy Spirit and his request upon us and his intent upon us, I just feel like he's allowed me the type of brain to be able to just kind of figure him out in some ways that maybe I was never taught to. That's all. It's just having the gift to speak on things that have to do with the Most High, and to be confident that I'm making sense when I do. That's all it is. Confidence. And so that's what I want people to understand. I'm a confident man when it comes to my faith, because the closer I get to God, the more things make sense to me. And I'm living in a world where not a whole lot makes sense to me in regards to how I behave, in regards to some of the stuff that's agreed upon around me, in regards to how to view certain things in my own mental health, and how I'm taking on the world, and how best to not think the world is revolving around me, or that the world is being especially cruel to myself. You know what I mean? When certain things happen out of coincidence, it ain't got nothing to do with anything at all. I just want to let people know I don't think of myself as somebody who's better than or holier than. And maybe I do look at myself a little funny for trying to display that in a way that may be greater than anything I can live up to. I think of myself as I have that antagonist in my head to say, this dude, you can't live up to that. You can't live up to that. But I don't think the measuring point is what I'm trying to display. It's the striving for said measuring point. It's not that I think I'm some holy person that can levitate above the water. It's that I think the highest level is probably something like that. Spiritually and mentally, that is. But like, not to say that I'm the embodiment of what it is that I most respect, but to say that I'm striving for it and I hope to get there. That's all I'm saying. And so I hope that other people will see that and understand the humility in this man. I'm not trying to be better than nobody. And if I ever display that, I think I'm betraying what means most to me. So that's what I want people to understand when they listen to me. I don't know if I've said that enough. In fact, I know I haven't. So a lot of y'all have seen so much of my stuff when I was in my most confident moments with the Lord. And you may think I think otherwise of self. I love myself, and because of it, I do not allow myself to lose sight of the things that matter most as it pertains to holding myself accountable for thinking I'm better than I am, or trying to punish myself for things that the Lord has forgiven me for already. Two things that people often find themselves falling into that I'm cognizant is energy that's bad for me. Vanity, anything like it. Some type of, narcissism, trash for my energy. I don't find that makes me better. No, not at all. Humility, transparency, courage in doing the more difficult thing. Those are things I respect most, not necessarily the opposite. And so that's what I want also to make clear, that the Lord within me is always challenging me to remember when I was not at my best, when my relationship with Him was not very strong, when my ideas were not very protecting of other people's energy and other people's circumstances, all these different things that I was involved in as a person before I found Him. And now allows me to understand that even though I have found Him, I'm not too far away from falling back into those circumstances just the same, if for some reason I lose sight of where it is that I've come from. Or where it is that I'm at, specifically. And so that's what I want people to know. I'm humble. I'm humble in the fact that hard times are in my life. I'm humble in the fact that I've been given a lot in terms of substance in the midst of that. I see that as true wealth, and I'm humble in the understanding that I've been given that. That's the God's honest truth. If people are wondering what the heck is going on in my head, that's what it is. I've been given truth as it pertains to what really should matter in our lives. Love, the welcoming of the Holy Spirit into your life, the welcoming of favor into your circumference. That I've been talking about favor, been given so much favor, got a family that loves me, been able to endure isolated. I don't think a lot of people would have been okay in my circumstances, but the Lord made me okay. That's wealth. Being able to survive your circumstances and keep a smile on your face without making you bitter, that's wealth. And if you identify it as such, you can almost become cocky in that. That's what I'm trying to describe to you. Spiritually, so to speak, spiritually snobbish, if I may dare so say that. You become spiritually snobbish. We start to become holier than thou. We start to think that it's our responsibility, because we're closer to God, to come down on people who are not. Like your threshold for patience is the same as the Lord's, and that you've gotten some secret understanding that maybe other people don't have, is to make them happy. I'm telling you, if you're cognizant of your power in life as a Christian, you won't do that to others. You won't see that as a plus. You will not allow yourself to become spiritually snobbish. Just because you know what real worth and real wealth is, does not mean you shun those who don't have it. Just like as it pertains to those who value money so much over substance and various things. Those who see real wealth, actual physical obtainable wealth like we see in this world without substance. Those who are not spiritually inclined at times or what have you, and we look at them as snobs, so can too you be a snob. Spiritually awoken person. So can you too be a snob in your actual poverty, but it's spiritual wokenness. And that's what I fight against just the same. Whatever it is, no matter what it is, if it's too much indulgence, it's probably no good for you. If it allows you to enjoy yourself too much and not hold yourself accountable for it, probably no good for you. You know, probably. And if you can think you can have too much of it and it not hurt you, it's probably no good for you. The only thing I can attribute to that not being the case is God and love. One and the same, obviously. That's the only thing you can have too much of and not be bad, because it will balance out in the way that it's supposed to, so that you have what you're supposed to have. Other than that, too much is always bad for you. As it pertains to self-consciousness and self-righteousness, well, that can be just as bad as being a real, actual snob with trillions and trillions of dollars to your name, not wanting to break bread with nobody for no reason. Just the same. And that's why I try to speak on praying for others. I pray for others because I don't want to be a spiritual snob. Oh Lord, bless me, and when I get mine, I'm happy. And strike down my enemies for the betterment of my ego. And make sure that all of my people are straight so that we can be happy. And that's it. Like, that don't do nothing but push you into a corner where you're the only one getting anything. Now everybody looking at you like, well, you got everything. Why is it that you're so happy with everything while everybody else is suffering? What kind of character do you have? It's like spiritual snob. Spiritual snob. I'm not a spiritual snob. I want everybody to be successful. I know that's where real energy comes from. Real help and real healing comes from everybody chipping in. Everybody being okay, not just a few, not just mine. Mine's cool. Okay, that's us. Now we're together, only ones getting benefit. No, that's not good. Now we got enemies because of that. What am I welcoming those enemies that come with that? No. I'm welcoming the balance of such that allows for all types of healing, so that everybody who's benefiting from the prayers I pray can also pay forward that energy, so we can all be okay. That is the only way. It's the only way. Everything else is spiritual snob. Bishness. I guess you want to finish the word. Spiritual snobbishness. And so I won't be a spiritual snob. You know, and I definitely don't want to be a materialistic person, you know, a real snob. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Because at the end of the day, it just doesn't make you love yourself. You look in the mirror, you don't love who you see because you've been turned yourself into something that's not really that good of a human being. When you're snobbish and think you're better than everybody else, you're not going to make many friends. You're not going to have many thank yous. People are going to be looking at you crazy, and that's going to overall determine how you see yourself in some ways, whether we want to give credence to that or not. That's exactly what it is. You take on all the world, eventually it just is what you see. It just is what you see. Now everything that's coming at you is defensive, everything coming at you is negative, everything coming at you is haterism. You got to fight against that in all kinds of different ways. Never once thinking that you could have welcomed the opposite just by changing your ways. Just by not being a spiritual snob. Be liars to our own energy. Thinking that energy is good for us, it ain't going to be no good for you if it welcomes the worst of consequences to you. And however it gets you to those consequences, whether by way of your ego or your evil, same thing. Same thing. Still brings you a negative, still the same thing you don't want to deal with. And so that's what I'm here to tell you, man. So I'm always here to tell you. It's a variation of form. Listen, so that your energy is something you do. Not just something that stumbles you into defensive circumstances. No, something that you really can genuinely use. So, time for me to go inside, get some fruit, get some things out of this El Super. Everybody have a great day. BDF 44.